Welcome once again to SoCo Chat, a podcast where we hear directly from county leaders, discuss the latest news, and talk about all things concerning our beautiful corner of California known as Sonoma County.
Welcome to another episode of SoCo Chat. I'm your host, Matt Brown, Deputy Communication Manager for the County of Sonoma. Thank you for joining us. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects many families, child support. Whether you're a parent trying to open a case, establish legal paternity, or simply understand your rights and responsibilities, Sonoma County Child Support Services is here to help. We're joined today by Alberto Botello and Dora Muro, Child Support Services Supervisors, to walk us through what they do, how they support both custodial and non-custodial parents, and how families can get the help they need. But before we get to our interview, I want to start with our trivia question. Our question today is, Sonoma County Child Support Services was recently ranked the highest county in the state for the rate of stipulated orders or agreements between parents to pay child support. What percentage of cases handled by the Sonoma County Department of Child Support Services ended with stipulated orders? If you know, call us at 707-565-2242 or email us at publicaffairs@sonomacounty.gov. If you are correct, you'll be entered into our weekly drawing for a chance to win a SoCo Chat coffee mug. With that, let's get on with our discussion. Welcome, Alberto and Dora. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, well, great. Let's just start off with a quick overview of your department, Child Support Services. What do you do?
So we're responsible for enforcing, establishing, and modifying court orders. That's kind of, establishing paternity. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we do. Our mission is to promote the well-being of children and self-sufficiency of families for both parents to meet the financial, medical, and emotional needs of the children, and doing all of that while delivering quality child support services.
Those are all important things. I'm so glad you guys are working on those things. So what kind of programs and services do you offer? Like paternity establishment, support order enforcement, collection services, that kind of thing? What do you do?
So you named all of those things, and our office takes care of helping with all of those things. We start from the beginning. If parents don't have paternity established, we can help establish paternity if they haven't already signed a voluntary declaration of parentage at the hospital. They can come in and open a case in our office, and we will establish just parentage if that's all they need. We help establish child support orders, so that's if parents are no longer together and they need help with coming up with that agreement or finding out what that number is that one parent should pay the other. Our office is there to run the calculation and do all the number crunching for them to let them know what the guideline support calculation says support should be. Once we get that, we actually enforce the orders. So we will maintain the accounts, keep track of what one parent owes the other. And then if, as many times happens, things or circumstances change and either visitation changes, income for one or both the parents changes, then we can modify the orders for the parents. And we can do that in-house. It takes a little bit of time. It's not an immediate thing, but we can do it, and the benefit of doing it through our office is that we guide you through the process. So while you can have an attorney, if you want to come and modify an order or establish an order through our office, we kind of walk you through the process. We give you the documents that you need. We give you some information on how to fill them out, and if you absolutely need help on certain questions, you can come and ask us or call us. We're pretty accessible, and so we're kind of somebody to walk alongside the process with you to go through the child support process. As we know, it can be daunting sometimes, especially when you're in it for the first time, talking about possibly going to court, providing your income, all these other questions that we ask in order to establish the support. So we have that. And so if we get to the point where we've established an order, we've been enforcing it, maybe unfortunately, sometimes people fall behind. On certain cases, we have a program called debt reduction that allows them to parents to apply to the if the child support is owed to the state, where we can help them see if maybe the state will forgive some of their debt. So we have that program, and a big part of what we do sometimes at the very beginning of a case is if a case is open in our office, we have locate tools that maybe the average parent wouldn't have. And so if it says, hey, I haven't been able to find the other parent and I'd like to establish a child support order, we can help locate that other parent. We may not be 100%, but we're probably going to have a better shot than the average person at locating the other parent. We have access to a lot of systems to see if we can find people, and we're more successful than your average person.
Well, you do have a lot of support for parents, it sounds like, and that's great. Let's talk about the process. So what does, if someone wants to open a case, a child support case, what's that process look like? How does that happen?
So there's various options that we have. We do have an online application, a simplified enrollment program. You can go online. We get the information. If we need additional documents, we can email them, mail them. You can also come to the office and pick up the application, fill it out there, and we can go ahead and do an intake interview to get all the information that you have. We can mail it to you, and you can mail it in or email it. We do have a central email box that can be used, and it's checked daily throughout the day to make sure we respond quickly. So there's options. It just depends on the situation and what your needs are. We also help our customers complete the application if they need help. Some of the questions can be, they can, it's a lot, there's quite a bit of forms that we have to fill out because we're just trying to get as much information as we can to make sure that we can locate the other parent and proceed quickly and move the case forward, especially if you need an order. We want to get it started right away. So we just make sure that all the documents are completed so we can move forward with that.
Sure, yeah. And amongst the information you ask, is the Social Security number required?
So the question is asked, and it obviously will make it easier to find the other parent or, if to verify income, et cetera. But if oftentimes some of the parents don't know each other's Social Security number, you don't have to have it to open up a case in our office. It's not a requirement in order to open the case in our office.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yes.
So now that someone's established a case, they've set it up, how do they go about checking the status of the case?
So the state has what's called Customer Connect. You can go on there and register. You can get information. You can send messages to your caseworker through there. You can check your payments through there, the court order amount, if there's any upcoming court hearings. Again, we're very accessible. You can call us. You can email us. We also have a text phone number. So there's many ways of getting a hold of us to get a status. But the Customer Connect is a really good source to just kind of get the information if you're kind of busy and you're checking, in the middle of the night. But you can definitely text us or, like I said, email, call, send a letter, come to the office.
A lot of ways to reach you guys. That's
Yes.
good. Oh, great. And what about those payments then? What are some of the payment methods people have, and are there ones that they should avoid? What should people look to for the payment methods?
So along with that, there are also various payment methods. We have, you can pay via MoneyGram. You can pay using Pay Near Me. You can use PayPal. Some of them, there is a service fee. I think MoneyGram and Pay Near Me is like $1.99 flat fee. You could also call us or pay online. That's a percentage of what you're paying. We also have a kiosk in our office, and we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And you can come in and pay in cash. There's no fee for that. Or you can pay with a credit card through the kiosk, or you can call us and we'll take a credit card payment online. You can also set up the withdrawal directly from your account. And that's done through Expert Pay, and you have to set up an account through them. And then you can designate how much you want taken, what day you want it removed, withdrawn from your account. And there's a small fee for that of $250 for the setup, and then after that it's free. So there's different ways to pay. Some there may be a fee, some there may not. You could also mail in a check or money order to the state disbursement unit in Rancho Cordova. Those. You can use that, but we usually suggest that you use one of the other ways just to make sure that the money gets to us quicker and that the payment's applied appropriately.
Okay, great. So what kind of support's available for unrepresented people if they're seeking forms or legal information, or they need help calculating child support payments? What kind of support do you have?
Our office is our legal unit, our review and adjustment team, provide assistance to parents while we don't represent either party. When we are talking about establishing an order, we'll we'll set out the steps that need to be taken by by the parties. So we'll usually request an income and expense declaration, and that form can be sometimes a little complicated to fill out because it's asking you about how much do you spend monthly, how much your earnings are, what type of earnings you have. So the questions can get a little very detailed, but we like to let people know once you have questions, contact us, because some of the questions may not apply to you, and it's okay. But if you have questions, we're here to answer those questions. Again, I mentioned we don't represent parties, so if it's not child support related, if they have questions about custody and visitation, or maybe they're still finalizing their divorce, then we refer them to the Family Law Facilitator's office on Cleveland in the first floor of the Family Law Court, and then they can get guidance through there if they don't have an attorney. We get that question a lot. Should I hire an attorney? It's a choice for people, but there's no requirement that you have to do it. We in our office, we like to, like we say, explain to people the process, right? So we're going through your establishment of an order. We're going to need income from both parents. We're going to need visitation, and then we're going to run a calculation, and then we're going to talk to you about what the guideline is. And if we can get an agreement, great. We'll go to that, get a stipulation and get that 58%. That helps us get the 58% that we got when we got recognized by the state. And so we do a lot of communication with the parents. And then then we explain, well, if we can't come to an agreement, which is fine, we don't have to agree, then we request a court date. And then once we get to the court, before we go into the court, there's a local court rule here in Sonoma County that we have to do a meet and confer. So we have to meet with the parents one more time and say, all right, we're going to go over the numbers one more time to make sure everything's correct, and then see if we can come to an agreement there. Oftentimes, that day, we'll come to an agreement, and then they don't have to see the commissioner. We can just stipulate. But if they still say, you know what, no, I still want to have a hearing, then we go to the hearing, and then the commissioner will either say the guideline is correct, or if one of the parents is asking for a deviation of child support and provides why it's in the best interest of the children, the commissioner can decide to deviate either upward or downward, depending on the certain case, and then that becomes the order. Once we get that, and we explain to them, now we're going to enforce this order. And one thing that hasn't been mentioned yet, but it is important to explain to our participants, is that in California, if you have a job where you get paid via check, like a company check, then we actually have to send out an income withholding order where it gets deducted right out of your check, right? So we explain that. And then explain the process for, hey, if things change, come back to us. We're here to help you do that process all over again. So we do a lot of, our phones are always busy. Our emails are always busy because we prefer to communicate. We tell participants that's the most important thing you can do. If you have a question and you're worried about something, call us. That's what our office is here for, to clarify, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Clarify and then point you in the right direction if we can't answer that question.
Well, it's a long and complicated process, and I'm sure people are confused by it, and you offer a lot of support. You're there every step of the way for people, so that's great to know. That's a great resource. Appreciate that. You have a voluntary declaration of parentage program. Can you tell me about how that helps families establish legal parentage?
Yes, so I mentioned it briefly at the very beginning. The voluntary declaration of parentage is a form that people may sign at the hospital with parents. So then if you fill out that paperwork at the hospital, if I did that at the hospital with when my baby was born, if I wasn't married with the other party, I'd be saying I am legally the father. And so once you've signed that and it gets sent to the state and recorded, that makes me legally the father of my child if we're not married. So sometimes people, for X reasons, aren't able to do it at the hospital. They can come into our office and we can fill out those forms. I'm excited because the state is working on rolling out an electronic form instead of a 3-carbon copy. We're slow. We still have those old school copies. But yeah, so it helps establish parentage. And if, for whatever reason, we can't go that route, again, we explain to the participants, well, we can establish it via a court order. We can establish that you're legally the father. And one thing along the voluntary declaration of parentage is that we offer free genetic testing for participants. So if you didn't fill out the voluntary declaration of parentage and you come in and say, hey, well, I want to open up a case, and they weren't married, we always let people know of that option, because once you're legally established to be the father, it is very hard to not be legally the father. So you have that option at the beginning of the case before you're legally established to ask for genetic testing. We do it for free in office. We actually, if the person is incarcerated, we come out to the jail and do the GT testing, and it's all free. And then if you're not the father, then we let you know that you're not the father. If you are the father, then we can go ahead and stipulate to parentage, or if we can and they're eligible for voluntary declaration of parentage, we fill out that form and send it to the state to establish paternity.
Great. Well, I appreciate that. What you mentioned, you can you have services to locate non-custodial parents. How do you go about doing that?
We have different systems. We have access to multiple systems, to like DNV and other systems. Clear, it's a system that we use to locate a person, so we can find where they're working, their address, phone numbers, email addresses, socials. So when a person opens a case in our office, sometimes they have minimal information. So it's just kind of provide everything that you have, and we'll take it from there to use our systems to find the individual and be able to establish an order or enforce an order if that's what we need to do. And part of our enforcement of the orders is also sometimes that's why we definitely want to get out to our participants to come and talk to us about their situation. Sometimes people evade us, and it's better to just come and talk to us and let us know what's going on with the situation, because some of our enforcement tools are systems designed to do a lot of it on its own. So we submit people for license suspensions. We can levy people's bank accounts, tax returns. We can intercept them, lottery winnings, workers' comp money, inheritance. So before we get to all of that, we really want our customers to contact us and say, hey, this is what's going on with me. What can you do? Can you look at the order to possibly modify it? So communication is definitely the key, so we can know what your circumstance is and work with you, because every case is different. And we definitely want to see what can be done. I think we mentioned the debt reduction program. So there's different things just based on the case that we can maybe say, did you think about this? Can you do this? Or let's modify the order. So there's different things that we can do to help.
Great. Well, about the debt reduction services and dispute resolution services, do you have those services you can connect clients to?
Yes, we can. Well, the debt reduction is a program that's a great program. It's for money that is owed to the state. So if the parent that was receiving the support was on cash assistance, that money is assigned to the state. The debt reduction program is a person completes an application and can tell us, I know I owe this money, but I can't pay all of it. How about I can pay this much? I can make an offer. And if the state accepts the offer, you're pretty much paying like monies on the dollar. We've been able to reduce a lot of debt for people, get them to close cases that have been open for years and years. So it's a really great program. You just need to call and talk to us about it, and we can send you the application. We can work with you. There's a payment plan, so if you don't have to come up with a lump sum payment all at once, you can do payments over a period of 36 months. So that, again, there's various options with that. As far as the complaint resolution, yes, if you have a complaint because you don't agree with an action, we do have a process for that as well. We have a phone number that you call. Again, we talk to you about the case, your situation, your concerns, and if we're not able to reach satisfaction with our responses, then you can file the complaint resolution, and there's a process for that. They can go all the way up to state hearing, depending on the situation.
Okay, interesting. How do the county system connect with the statewide system and federal systems for child support?
Yeah, so we connect in terms. There's a couple of laws that allow us to enforce other state or require us to enforce other state orders as if they were our own. Right, it's got UFSA and the Hague Conventions allows us to do enforce orders from other countries as well. So statewide, we all have one child support system. It's called CSC, Child Support Enforcement System. And so I could see a case. I know we often do get participants that come into our office. I'd like to say because they like us and that we communicate. And we've heard it anecdotally. People say, I come to Sonoma County because I know if I come to your office, I'm going to see somebody and somebody will answer my questions. So they'll come and we can see their case if it's in Tulare County, San Diego County. And if they have a question, hey, what's my balance? Or I was waiting on this document, but it didn't come. And we can print out that document that the San Diego caseworker generated. Maybe they didn't get or they lost. Maybe if they were going through a modification in San Diego, they're like, oh, can I just turn them in here? And then we can scan them and send them to San Diego. So it's great that we have that statewide system. And then federally, like I said, we have the UFSA law, and hey, we respect each other's orders. So if somebody moves to Nevada and the circumstance requires us that we ask Nevada to help enforce the child support order, our system communicates with Nevada and we say, hey, we have this case here. Could you please enforce this order? And they don't have to go through and establish an order. They just enforce our order. Vice versa, we get from other states, other countries, and so most of our funding comes from the feds and the states. So you get hardly or no funding from the county general fund. So that's how we communicate with the different state agencies and federal agencies.
Yeah, well, that's great to know. Tell me about education and outreach. How do those programs work for your office to let the community or let community members know about their rights?
Well, we do some tabling. So we will be tabling at the Fiesta de Independencia in September. We do presentations and events like this, coming to let the community know that we're here and we're available to help. We also do high school outreach, which is we go to several high schools a few times a year and present to the classes. Usually, I think it's like life skills classes, and we have a game that we play to let them know what could happen if they, end up having a child while they're minors, and what the situation is. And a lot of times we get letters from them thanking us for letting them know that this program is out there. Sometimes they go and share it with their family, their parents that they may not know that we're here. So we definitely want the community to know about our department. Sometimes we get confused with CPS, Child Protective Services. So it's important to us to do these events so people know that we're a different department, the services that we offer, and to come and open cases, and again, what we can do for them to help them.
Yeah, great. What kind of advice would you offer to a parent who's getting child support or paying child support?
Yeah, so the advice and the number one thing we tell all participants is communicate with our office. While we do have amazing, wonderful systems that help us locate and find other information, nobody's more knowledgeable about your case than you and possibly the other parent. You'd probably be first to know if they moved or they got a new job or visitation has changed. The parents would probably know. So we ask that they communicate with our office and they ask questions, right? So the other thing that I would say is we want to let people know that we realize child support sometimes has a negative connotation to it. Our office actually has a lot of cases that where parents kind of just want us to be involved so that we can take care of the accounting, right? So you don't have to talk about, did you pay me last month? Did I pay you last month? We keep track of it, we collect it, we send it out. And so a lot of times parents can get along better because they're no longer talking about that one touchy subject that they can't communicate on, and it makes co-parenting easier for them. So I would say to people, come talk to us, and especially sometimes people, we don't need child support because we already have an agreement. That's awesome. If you have an agreement, we can, or if you have a verbal agreement or not a court order yet, we can put that in a court order, your agreement, because we want to work with you, and then we can just make that into an official court order, and then we can, like I said, do all the accounting and all that stuff for you on the background, and then you don't have to worry about that. So we've noticed that a lot of parents, actually, we have a pretty good percentage of parents that pay, and they like coming through our office because of that, because there just takes one other thing, touchy subject that they don't want to discuss, and it allows them to be better parents and co-parent together.
Yeah, that's great service. Let's go over some of the details, your location, office hours, your contact. How can someone contact you?
So we can be contacted online at childsupport.ca.gov.
Okay.
We can be called at 1-866-901-3212. That's our main phone number. We do have a satellite office in Petaluma. We are there Thursdays, 8:30 to 4, and that's located at 5350 Old Redwood Highway North, Suite 100 in Petaluma. Our main office is in Santa Rosa. It's at 3725 Westwind Boulevard, Suite 200 in Santa Rosa. It's off of Airport Boulevard, so we almost feel like you're getting to Windsor, but it's still considered Santa Rosa. And we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We also have a office in Sonoma. And that office, we are only there on Wednesdays, beginning August 1st, by appointment only. So you can call our appointment line if you live in that area so that you don't have to travel all the way to Santa Rosa or Petaluma. And that appointment line is 707-565-4010. And that's located at 19080 Lomita Avenue in Sonoma. We also have an office, satellite office, and at the HSD building on Capricorn. So that's 2227 Capricorn Way, Suite 100. We are there Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4:15. So there's a lot of ways that you can get a hold of us.
Great, absolutely. Anything else you guys would like to add?
Yeah, well, I think one thing we haven't mentioned is that August is Child Support Awareness Month. So, we've tried to get out a little bit more and connect with our partners in August to remind them that it's Child Support Awareness Month. And then on top of that, we'd like to know, especially with the current climate of things, that our office doesn't share confidential information with anybody else. So we've mentioned that we access a lot of systems in order to locate parents, find income, verify income, but we don't. That information comes in, but it doesn't go out. And so even before this, we would make a point of saying that to parents. Your confidentiality is of utmost importance to our office, and so we often get when parents say, "Hey, I know the other parent moved. Could you give me that their new address or new phone number?" No, we can't. So even to the other parent, we won't divulge any of the information. So I think it's even more important to note now with the current state of things recently.
Absolutely. That's great. And you guys are doing so much great work. We thank you so much. Alberto, Dora, thank you so much for being here to talk about all this. We really appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a thank you for being our guest, we'd like to offer you our SoCo Chat coffee mugs. And to our listeners, we'd also like to give you a chance to win one of our SoCo Chat coffee mugs. Just answer our trivia question, and you'll be entered into our weekly drawing. As a reminder, our question today is, Sonoma County Child Support Services was recently ranked the highest county in the state for its rate of stipulated orders, or agreements between parents to pay child support. What percentage of cases handled by the Sonoma County Department of Child Support Services ended with stipulated orders? If you know, call us at 707-565-2242 or email us at publicaffairs@sonomacounty.gov. Submit your answer to us as soon as possible for your chance to win that prize. Also, if you have comments about this or any other segment or have a suggestion for a topic for a future SoCo Chat discussion, please email us at the same address, publicaffairs@sonomacounty.gov. Thank you all, and we hope you continue to follow SoCo Chat on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and of course, YouTube. See you next time. Thanks again, Dora and Alberto.